Hello, and welcome to Podcasting's Praxis, an episode that almost didn't fucking happen.
By the end of it, I'll be surprised if all four of us are left.
Yeah, we've just spent 45 minutes trying to troubleshoot fucking audio issues, keyboard shortcuts, and a million other fucking stupid things. So we're finally here.
The universe itself
here.
is trying to keep us out of the zone.
So today on this cursed fucking episode, I'm David, and I have with me Rob.
Hiya.
Jamie.
All right.
And Alistair.
Good to speak to you all, eventually.
Yeah, rather than screaming into fucking Discord. Fuck's sake. Oh, God. Right, okay. Let's just fucking kick off, shall we? Let's actually try and get some fucking content out of this. So, news nuggets. Rob, what have you got?
Yeah, news nuggets. Yay. There was a big tweet thing and also an article in the Financial Times by Peter Foster about how hard Brexit has been on the au pair childcare market, which was fucking amazing.
Oh no, people having to raise their own kids.
I mean, pretty much, Jamie, you're right. Like, there's people complaining about having to raise their own kids. And the amazing part was, I think it was in tweet number 2 or something. It's in the article as well. He was saying, like, it's really bad because it'll be very hard on nurses, doctors, and the police to find a new au pair nanny rather than, like, pay an actual childcare professional.
I mean, it's... Yes, these are people who... Well, I mean, nurses and... is a particularly farcical example, but I mean, there are doctors, consultants spring to mind who earn fantastical wages, but like, not every doctor is a fucking consultant, and not every fucking police officer is a sergeant or whatever the fuck. Yeah. So, yeah, I suppose some of these people could conceivably have had au pairs, but like, my mum and dad were both in the police, and no, I did not have a fucking au pair.
Well, apparently there's like 45,000 families in the UK that regularly make use of au pairs, and it's fucking mental. Like, it says it in the article, but I did a quick little bit of background reading, and it's like, apparently the thing was because they were not technically workers, they were like exchange students. So all you had to give them was like room, board, 100 quid of pocket money a week, which is
pocket money
nowhere mentioned. Yeah. And what is referred to as language lessons, which I'm assuming is the mum of the house screaming at them because whatever, one of the kids hasn't behaved very well or some shit.
Do you know what? I stayed at two of my friends were like house sitting for a family that had an au pair, and I don't mind telling you, the house was fucking enormous, and it was in like Hampshire. So that's
but one of those people's dads drove a van, so they're working class.
I love to receive the hereditary trait of white van man.
Yeah, I mean, it's an fucking extraordinary story because, like, these fucking people are caterwauling, and as you say, like, they're giant houses in Hampshire and shit. And the guy mentions in the piece that like doctors and nurses and police officers, but then he goes on to like quote people who have au pairs, and one of them is an oil trader, and the other is a couple, both of whom are NHS consultants. Like, all right, this is who we're talking about.
Salt of the earth, working class careers.
Yeah.
I'm surprised they didn't ask that guy that runs the fucking runs his own working class pizza shop or whatever the fuck it was.
Andrew Twentyman.
That cunt.
What's her fucking name? Helen Piss. Helen Pidd.
Yeah, Helen Piss.
Yeah, but as it turns out, there was it was a bit older, but like I was just curious because there were some cunts on Twitter going like, oh no, it's actually really good because like we have this rotating cast of 17-year-old girls looking after our children, and it's actually really nice.
And I'm starting to scan those hard drives, fuck me.
Yeah. I was just a bit curious, like what the actual thing is. So there was some research done in 2014 by Birkbeck University by somebody called Dr. Rosie Cox. Just wanted to, give credit where credit's due. And actually, what it turns out to be is not so much a cultural exchange, but that the average au pair works 38 hours a week for 108 quid. is usually like it's not their first au pair time. It's usually their second, third, fourth, or fifth. And that, weirdly enough, and I can imagine reasons for it, that the au pairs from Western European countries are paid much better and treated much better than those from Eastern European countries. And I'll just leave you to draw your own conclusions there.
I love to have essentially an indentured servant who cannot do anything except what I tell them to for peanuts, who has been doing this for a long time for some mysterious reason.
Yeah. So people got extremely salty when you called them live-in serfs, and they were like, no, mine, can stray off the land every second Friday. I treat my serfs
extraordinarily well. I give them many quarrels of grain. I don't know what the fuck...
Quarrels of grain.
Another great fucking success. I know I've been talking about this fucking story for a while now, but that's because it's extremely gross, and I think it deserves repeated mention. While we were catastrophically fucking around with trying to get the recording going tonight, there was another vote on the Spike Ops bill today in the House of Lords. We mentioned it last time. The House of Lords had sent it back to the House of Commons with some amendments saying, please don't allow the security services to authorize rape, torture, murder, and use of child soldiers. And then the House of Commons overwhelmingly voted those amendments down. So it went back to the House of Lords in the shitty version. And now that the one with the shitty version has been voted through. And the reason why... is that in the House of Commons, the Solicitor General, whose name I can't fucking remember, argued that banning certain crimes, by which we mean rape, torture, murder, and child soldiers and other things, could risk the safety of confidential informants. So the reason I'm bringing this up is that it's, of course, extremely gross. But the specific reason I'm bringing this up is that Labour whipped its peers to abstain
fucking God.
on this.
On
rape.
Fucking Keith.
Yeah, and we're not doing a Labour episode, so I'll promise that to our listeners, but this is just the one thing.
Human rights lawyer, Sir Keith Starmer, whips to abstain. Fucking stick that on the fucking front page, boys. What? Just... Every single thing. I know we're not meant to talk about Labour at this point because it's.
Honestly,
flush.
at this point we're gonna have to stop recording for 10 minutes so I can go and yell at them to fucking resign on Twitter.
It's just every single fucking thing that comes out of literally every single thing that comes out of the Labour Party at this point is just either an embarrassment, a disappointment, or a tantamount to a crime against humanity.
The thing is, right, if enough of us run to the barricades and bully them on Twitter over this, they'll be fucking doing another leadership reset in the morning.
The fucking Keith Hive will be on our heels, I'm sure. They care about as much about dipshits yelling at them on Twitter as fucking Kamala Harris does for some perplexing reason. Our podcast, which receives less than 1,000 listeners per episode, has, for some reason, acquired political capital. And that is entirely the fault of the current Labour Party.
So you'd imagine that even when you've received an instruction to abstain, right? And again, we're talking about rape and murder and torture and other things that maybe, I'm not sure Labour can remove you from the House of Lords. They can't boot you. Once you're in there, you're just in there like a fucking deer tick. So you could just rebel on the bill, and just fucking vote against it, right? I mean, you do have a moral conscience of your own.
No, you don't.
So
you're in the House of Lords.
Yeah, it's a prerequisite. Fuck me.
If you had a moral conscience, you'd have.
Oh, fuck it.
So there's 180 Labour lords, and only 18, so 10% of them voted against this bill. The rest abstained away. But yeah, the only reason I'm mentioning this is otherwise it's complete monsters everywhere. It's just one of the people who voted against this, and I genuinely had to do a fucking double take, was Andrew Adonis. And I don't understand that. Yeah, he rebelled against the Labour Party and voted against.
Oh, but
He's probably got some like fucking 19-dimensional chess system in play where if he votes against this, somewhere down the line the dominoes fall in such a way that Tony Blair comes back to fucking like wank him off or something. Do you know what I mean?
It's going to be purely Tony would have worded it better, and that's why he's voting against it.
Probably, yeah.
Yeah, something like that.
When Tony was in charge, no one ever called him no one ever called fucking Big Andy Adonis a fucking like bald prick on Twitter, did they?
No, probably not.
No, they didn't.
Is it coincidence that like Blair resigned just before Twitter was like invented?
Probably not.
Makes you think, doesn't it?
It really does. But yeah, so it's turning to more sort of immediate things, which are probably even of I won't say of use, but of information to us and to our listeners. There was some talk that sort of like the Americans...
Really selling that there, like, mate, you know what I mean? Well, it might not be useful, but you can't deny it exists.
I know, I exist to exist. Is that there was some talk about maybe, like the Americans, there would be a £1,000 emergency universal credit payment, just like to give to people. Yeah. So there was talk of that, and the Secretary for the Department of Works and Pensions, Therese Coffey, was asked about this in committee and said that they will not be doing that because if people get £1,000, it might stop them from...
They'll not work, do you know what I mean? And if they don't... it's like bears, do you know what I mean? If you give people money, they just like become dependent on it and they don't forage for money themselves.
More to the fucking point, what jobs? Just what? How? I mean, insert Zizek here, like ideology. What fucking jobs is she? Is
the
to be expected? Yeah, like, fucking always sunny in Philadelphia. Like, get into a job cannon and fire it out into Jobland. Like,
it's cyber, mate. It's cyber.
Yeah, it was one of Keith's many fucking leadership resets, wasn't it? Jobs.
It was.
Jobs. I think that was number 3.
Yeah,
number 3 in an ongoing series.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so it because nobody's getting £1,000, they are considering maybe keeping the extra £20 a week COVID top up on the universal credit, but that's going to end in April. Probably, and with no guarantee that that's actually going to be renewed.
But you see, they're taking that away, but also they're going to raise like benefits by like 0.5% or some shit.
Oh, but then nobody's going to get a job if they have 0.5% more money.
The thing is, if you're on the state pension, that's not a benefit, so you get like an extra like fucking 60% or some shit. Do you know what I mean?
I'm really encouraged that Immortan Coffee is now in charge of the DWP.
I mean, she's a fucking monster through and through. I mean, like, it's only because Pretty tells around that people don't notice, like, how much of a fucking genuine evil human being she is.
From the, like, black hole, like, hawking radiation emitted by Pretty Patel, it is very difficult to see the, like, neutron star of despair that is Therese Coffey off in the, like, slightly behind.
But I mean, we're talking about jobs, but there are going to be jobs. I'm pleased to report because what the UK at least Northumbria County Council, Cumbria County Council has done. I'm super proud of the UK because it's really up, cutting, and modern. Is we're going to open a brand new coal mine.
Oh my god, yeah.
Is the intention that we're going to fucking power the UK off of the spinning of Margaret Thatcher's grave?
It's so funny to me. We just treading upon rake, just doing the stupidest shit that we could possibly imagine. Like the reason closing all the fucking mines was bad wasn't because necessarily the miners couldn't mine coal anymore. It's because the miners didn't have a job anymore. Mining coal is bad. Why are we quite literally going back to the 70s on mining coal? Somehow even making it even worse.
Would you rather go back to the 70s on the bins? You fucking Stalinist.
Yeah, when the dead were unburied and walking the street. No, so this apparently it's not coal for heating, but it's coal for industrial uses, and it's really weird because like the operators of the mine are saying
in this country.
No coal for recreational use.
I just you say it's not coal for heating. I just like the idea that, like, you know what I mean. It took us like over a decade of living in. We moved into this house in like 2000, this council house, and it took like it was the 2010s before we managed to get them to like come around and put gas in rather than like a coal fire. And do you know what I mean? It's like they're just going to come back around and forcibly reinstall coal just for the sake of jobs.
Oh, you're going to get like fucking Therese Coffey's just going to come around and be like, no, you're gonna take this fucking coal fireplace and you're going to like it.
She's welcome to come around. She can live in the fucking cupboard that we get like a bedroom tax reduction for. You could technically fit a bed in there if you stood it on one end. So you know. It might not look like much, but it would be considered luxurious on the International Space Station. You fucking pricks.
Look, down south, we're used to having a bed that is exactly measured to your body shape. So you should consider yourself lucky that you have a bed that has enough room in a third dimension to be on its end.
Well, I mean, but you have the great fortune that you can reach your kitchen while lying in your bed, which is, a lot of people would kill for that kind of convenience.
Yeah, I mean, sometimes I accidentally leave my laptop on my hot plate, but, that's a sacrifice I'm willing to make for the princely sum of £900 a month for a 2 square metre sized room.
Yeah, so the cherry on top of this particular fucking mining pit is that the UK is hosting the big international follow-up to the Paris Climate Accord in November.
Oh, is that raising some eyebrows, is it?
Yeah, it's raising some eyebrows. I mean, I don't know why other countries would still look at the UK for fucking anything, but there's not an unreasonable argument to be made, when developing countries who were all telling them like not to burn their rainforest and not to dig for coal, and the host country is actually opening a new coal mine.
Well, I mean, it's just more money for you. I think we more money for me. Fuck you, you know.
Point, like, there's not a nation on earth that takes anything Britain says or does seriously. Do you know what I mean?
Sincerely hope so. Yeah.
I
mean, we are the country that quite literally invented the concept of gunboat diplomacy. So it's no surprise that now that we're not allowed to.
I don't know what that is. That sounds like something you have to read to learn about. So
the idea of parking a boat off the coast of a colonial a colonial outpost and being like, yeah, I mean, you can say that you can reject these terms of this deal that we're offering you, but we've got a big old fucking gunboat parked parked outside your window.
Sure, you could choose not to import this opium and give us silver, but we do have all these guns trained at your capital. That's pretty much gunboat diplomacy.
Yeah, and now that that's somewhat frowned upon. It's no surprise that the enterprising nation that is the UK.
It's not really that surprising because all the boats just fucking sink in hot water these days. So.
Well, yeah, I mean that doesn't help, does it? I mean, you can torment pretty much everywhere within a 20-mile radius of Portsmouth, but that's about it.
A fucking aircraft carrier off someone's course and just go, well, you can reject the terms of this deal, but we've got a bunch of fucking like Navy guys running up and down the deck with their arms out going, nah. Wouldn't want to piss those guys off.
The Queen Elizabeth II, yeah, the amazing.
It's a great bridge, that.
Yeah. It is actually. Thank you. Now, while we're on the Queen and water, which is a weird combination, but here we are. I'm taking it as a bridge. The
Crown picturing you riding the Queen down a water slide now.
Well, we'll get to the water slides later in this episode, I think. But the Queen has and the Crown Estates have just earned themselves a cool 220 million quid from selling seabed rights to offshore wind farm developments. And the reason I mention this, which I didn't know, because who the fuck knows these things otherwise, is that apparently all the seabed of the UK coast is technically Crown territory. So if you want to build a wind farm offshore, you have to pay Brenda.
Fuck's
Normal.
sake.
That's very normal. I'm gonna build illicit wind farms in international waters.
Why doesn't she just fuck off and have like and live on the seabed? Do you know what I mean? If it's like her territory, just fucking. Do you know what? She can go and she can live on the seabed off the coast of the Falkland Islands and like trade their squid for them or something.
She could have that, which James Bond is it? Is that Octopussy where they have that giant undersea lair that sort of rises up out of the ocean? I think, she could probably pay for it.
I don't think that's Octopussy's the one where Roger Moore dresses like a sad clown.
HMRC Lab 2021.
That's pretty good, like.
Oh.
Yeah. But apparently, I mean, this is also sort of with a little bit of a callback to the last half episode that we did about the British Green Revolution. This is the first time in a decade that like the UK sold off any sites for wind farm development. So for 10 years, like nobody's just built any wind farms, which just blows my fucking mind again. And because
they were too busy trying to get all the fucking solar panels sorted out, weren't they? And whatever the fuck his name was in Dartford, Trevor in Dartford. He's got his hands full now. They've got to get cracking with something else while he's got his 100,000 solar panels to get installed.
Well, weirdly enough, one of the reasons might be in relation to the previous story.
One of the reasons no one's built any wind farms might be that you don't actually have to do that to get like fucking grants from the government or something. If you went to school with Boris and you say you're gonna like do fucking green energy, you can have a big sack, like a big fucking like burlap sack with a pound sign on it, just like dropped off at your front door every week. But you don't actually have to like make any progress. That would be uncouth to like do you know what I mean? To ask how things are going. There's no need to micromanage like fucking, you know what I mean, Big Toby's fucking windindustries.com or whatever. That would just be unseemly. We can just trust him to get on with it, you know what I mean? He's a good sort.
Yeah, but the reason I was referring to had more to do with supply, because when we were talking about that mine just now, one of the reasons the government said we have to open it is because with that type of coal, we need that to process steel so we can build wind farms. So this is like settlers. You need a farm.
Are you fucking kidding me?
I am not kidding you.
Oh my god. That is genuinely asinine.
What we should do is annex Denmark and build the wind farms out of Lego.
I'm still fucking reeling at this. Like it has to be this specific kind of coal.
Well, yeah, I mean, it has to be that specific kind of coal because they wanted to burn the poor for fuel and we all got mad at them, so they can't do that.
It really is our fault, isn't it?
As someone that knows literally anything about chemistry, I'm just rubbing like my temples at this.
Yeah, so I mean, it's just like settlers, right? First, you need to build the mine, to build the farm, to build the wind farm, and then everything's gravy. I think it works like that.
I'd love to play SimCity with an actual fucking state.
Are we just naming random games? It's kind of like Lemmings when you think about
it. Yeah. Oh.
Why don't we hire the orc peon from Warcraft 2? I'm sure he could do a better job.
Well, his ethos is work.
We're on the topical video game comedy, like, do you know what I mean?
Have I pissed you off by mentioning a video game?
No.
Can we get to the fucking like point of this episode? You dragged me out of fucking bed after 3 hours sleep. Like, can we just get to the bit that's like?
We can actually. I was literally when Alistair was mentioning the word SimCity, I was going to do a fucking bridge, but then it went.
Does anyone have any more fucking like hilarious banter about Jet Set Willy before we crack on?
Jamie's not impressed.
Fucking tired, man. Do you know what I mean? Can we just fucking move this along? I want to go back to bed.
All right. Fuck it. Why not? So, it's convenient. No, whatever. This is listeners. This is take 2, so that's why.
It's I'm pissed off about it because it's gonna be shit. It's gonna. Do you know what I mean? It could be. The thing is, we can put this out, and it might be like people might go, "Oh, this is solid gold," and I'm always gonna know that, like in my heart, it wasn't as good as the James Spader Memorial Cum Cafe that we did last week and then lost. So, do you know what I mean? Yeah, I'm fucking pissed off about this already. Let's fucking go.
Fuck it. All right. So just to bring it back, dear listener, if you're still listening, we've done a couple of quite heavy episodes, and I want to tell you a news story which involves urban renewal in coastal communities, not involving mining, 90s Eurodance music, toilet paper, the Call of Cthulhu, and tourist attractions in Switzerland. Now, I can't even begin to imagine... let's try that again. I can't even begin to stress how much I've not made any of this shit up. So I invite you all, some of us for the second time, to join me at Blackpool Central, the latest and possibly the most totally bird-brained scheme yet devised to revitalize the Red Wall or whatever.
I mean, so, I know we did this like a week ago, but fortunately I've actually pushed all of the details out of my brain, so I'm pretty much coming into this with a clean slate.
The story I want to tell you tonight is about the Blackpool Central project, which is going to be built. It's got all the permissions now, and it's going to be built right next to the Blackpool Tower. Yeah.
In the centre of Blackpool, is maybe.
Yeah, in the centre of, but localise it. Maybe you have listeners in Blackpool, whatever. So the local council there is now using compulsory purchase orders to secure land to build a 300 million quid new entertainment complex, and has just signed a 250-year lease to redevelop the Blackpool shore.
Now, correct me if I'm wrong, Rob, but if I recall correctly, this land that they've compulsory purchased is somewhat close to the shore.
It's pretty much literally on the beachfront.
Is it part of the Queen's seabed?
No, it will be in 250 years, but not yet.
I wonder if anything about the level of the sea might change between now and 250 years in the future.
It's fine. They can just winch it up the tower to keep it dry.
To be fair, one of the
that's
stated
what the coal. They can use the coal to turn the turbines to power the winch to yank all this shit up the tower. It's genius. Why didn't we do this before?
To be fair, one of the reasons Blackpool Council said they want to do this thing is to draw tourists in for the coming century, and I would go there
so they can never leave for the next 100 years.
Just a giant fucking magnet that attracts like fucking dipshits with money to burn.
There's a bunch of stuff going on this site, but the main tenant of this redevelopment will be the Chariot of the Gods Entertainment Park, which is an indoor theme and adventure park.
Not Chariots of Fire.
Yeah, no, not Chariots of Fire. Chariots of the Gods. Important difference. And they're based on a series of books from the 1960s and 70s by a Swiss author named Erich von Daniken. Now, of course, 1960s Swiss author books, that's already sounds like a fucking
Swiss
winner.
author books.
I don't know. I don't know if that's better than it being based off some book I've never heard of, or that book series that Mitch Benn did, which...
Oh, for fuck's sake, Lord.
We may do an episode on this. I am actually reading the fucking thing.
I am campaigning hard against that episode.
See what it is. If we do an episode on this, I'm picking the guest, and it's that guy from The Mummy.
What, Brendan?
No,
Brendan James.
the guy that yells, "You must not read from the book." I'm just going to get him to come on and just shout that at you for an hour.
So this project is the developers behind it. The first part is a company called Media Invest Entertainment. They own the intellectual property rights.
I remember them. They did that Michael Schumacher dance song, didn't they?
Yeah. They own the intellectual property rights to Chariot of the Gods, and the man behind Media Invest.
The word intellectual is badly misplaced in that fucking sentence.
Doing a lot of heavy lifting, isn't it?
Yeah, but much more about what Chariot of the Gods is in a little bit.
Remember when that dipshit? Is it the guy? No, it's not the guy that died of COVID. It's a different guy, isn't it? But it was that like fucking...
There's been a few of those, Jamie.
No, I mean the guy, the American guy, the Republican guy who was
not Michael Caine.
Yeah, Michael Caine.
Michael Caine. Herman Caine.
Herman Caine. Yeah, that's the one.
Yeah, no, he's the one that died, isn't he?
Yes.
Yeah. He died of COVID.
It was a guy that was a candidate for, you know, when they had like 73 fucking like presidential potentials that all like spilled out of a tiny car onto the debate stage. One of those was like a brain surgeon, and he said that the pyramids were used to store grain because he'd obviously like learned that from like Sid Meier's Civilization.
Oh, so it's all right when you reference a video game, is it, Jamie?
Well, it's specifically the original like Civilization. When you built the pyramids, you got a free grain silo in every city.
It did, yeah.
So the specificity of the reference is what makes it acceptable. Okay,
well,
I'll see how
literally
it is.
what he said was that they used the pyramids to store grain, and it was like, I wonder where you learned that fact, Mr. Brain Surgery. Ben Carson, that's the fucking guy.
Ben Carson, yeah.
So for reference, this fucking Chariot of the Gods guy is stupider than him.
Yes, exactly. But the man behind the project on the development side, one of them is an Austrian pop music mogul named Norbert Reichart, who lives in Monaco along with the other developer, and he made his money in 1990s Austrian dance
Monaco.
music.
Is there anything good in Monaco? Do you know what I mean? If we just bombed it, would anything of value be lost?
Nothing.
I mean, I think the only things of value are like people who evade tax in the sense that...
It would make the Grand Prix more interesting, wouldn't it, if they had like, you know what I mean?
It was like a blasted out hellscape, yeah.
Turn it into a fucking game of Mario Kart.
Mad Max.
No, that other Jason Statham movie where he's in a prison with car races.
Which Jason Statham movie have we mentioned for you to fucking... Like, he wasn't in Mad Max. Do you know what I mean?
Whatever. They're all the same.
Are you mixing
people.
up Jason Statham with Tom Hardy?
I think so, yeah.
I genuinely can't work out who that's a slam
Jason
on.
Statham as Bane.
That would be so much. I mean, I like Tom Hardy as Bane. I don't care what anyone says. Do you know what I mean? And I don't even. It's not even lessened for me by like looking back at what like a harbinger of things to come it was, that like people going, oh, you can't understand a word he says, and do you know what I mean? And then like Christopher Nolan going, well, I'll fucking show you when you can't understand a word someone says, and then we get Tenet. Fucking Michael McCain just like shoveling fucking like microchips into his dish while delivering a fucking like monologue. But no, I quite like that. But yeah, fucking Jason Statham as Bane would be fucking incredible.
I'd watch that.
Well, I like how we're assembling a new cast for Jamie to direct already.
I just like let's just scrap this and do a podcast about what famous like cinema roles would be better with like Jason Statham in them.
Well, were we talking about a theme park at some point?
Yeah, we were talking about a theme park. The guy behind it who made his money in Austrian dance music, and this time I've cut a little snip of an amazing album, amazing track by a guy called DJ Visage, called Schumacher 98.
I think it's pronounced Visage.
I prefer my one. Oh yeah, this song fucking slaps. I just want to say some of the lyrics to this song are fucking amazing. Like
it owns. It's proper like late 90s dance. It's fucking amazing.
It's just like 0 to 100 in 2 seconds. Schumacher has won. Michael Schumacher is the master of the world.
Schumacher Weltmeister. No, it's all the commentary is all in German. That's what makes it even better.
Yeah, it's all in German, but like that's what the lyrics say. It's just the fucking commentary for a fucking Formula One race in 1998 got just slapped over.
German, as everyone knows, is the language of comedy. Now, for real though, the Germans are like the funniest fucking people on earth. I love them. The most owned, I don't know if I've mentioned this on the pod before, but the most owned I've ever been in my life was talking on like
Every
voice
good
chat
story starts like that.
talking on voice chat, and there was a German guy, and I mentioned, I was like pissing around. I was like, I can speak some German, and then they were like, oh, really? Like, and I went, yeah, and like the most basic German, like there's a dog under the table. I was like, oh, ein Hund unter einen Tisch, and the German guy just goes like, without missing a beat, just goes, my God, your German's even worse than your English.
This is fuck me, this recording. All right, so the other, to try to drag it back to the Blackpool Central theme park based on the Chariot of
based
Gods.
on the fucking Egyptians store and using the pyramids to store cyber grain.
Yeah, pretty much. The other guy is a guy from the local area called Alan Murphy, who made a huge personal fortune by turning recycled tissues into bog rolls. This was after owning a series of hair salons, and then the
that sounds gross, but it's better than the other way around.
yes. So he sold the bog roll conversion business for about 150 million quid in 1997, and this guy now also lives in Monaco, so I'm guessing that's where they met, and he's probably worth more than 200 million quid today. Anyway, the entertainment complex as it stands will be based on unsolved mysteries of the past, such as who built the pyramids of Egypt and Mexico.
Such as who greenlit this project.
It's a theme park that somehow just eludes closure at any point.
Join us in the mystery zone where we try and trace the finance and work out how much of it went to fucking offshore accounts.
It's a theme park that somehow just has an enormous Adam Curtis vibe.
Yeah, it will also feature.
If they want a great tourist, instead of these massive fucking elaborate. Oh, it's gonna be like fucking. It's gonna be like Alton Towers, but from the future, you know what I mean? Like shit with laser projectors and all this bollocks. They should just do the classic Americana thing of just a regular item but massive. Do you know what I mean? So Blackpool, you just build a giant ruler that extends from the beach up into the town, and every year you can come on a pilgrimage to see how much higher the sea's gotten.
Oh, this is yes. Sort of. You mean the giant ball of twine or something like that?
Yeah,
more. Yeah, that'd be fucking amazing.
A ruler
proper,
anticipating
proper
how
Sam
tall.
and Max hit the roads vibes.
Yes, exactly.
We're gonna have all the gamers on board this one. Do you know what I mean? Does anybody want to use any slurs?
But yeah, so apart from the pyramids, they will also explain ancient cave drawings, the monuments of Easter Islands, and
I've got that one for them. Do you know what I mean? Is it someone in a cave drew them?
Nope, it's definitely not somebody in a cave drew them.
No, for real though, the actual conspiracy there is it's proof of Elon Musk's we're all in the Matrix theory. You know how cave paintings you look at them and you go, is that meant to be a horse? What the fuck is that? It was actually you know what I mean? It's how art gets more realistic over time. It's because the cave paintings look weird because the simulation was running on 8 bits back then, and that's what a horse actually looked like.
That was good to know. We graduated from Minecraft horse to 64-bit horse.
To fucking Age of Empires horse, yeah.
Well, I mean, it'll have some really fucking modern-ass digital shit with
a Call of Duty horse.
Modern-ass digital shit. That's quite an image.
No, it'll have the UK's first flying theatre, which is a ride which aims to recreate the feeling of human flight.
Sounds like some fucking Terry Gilliam shit, the flying theatre.
I mean, it's not. It's been done in other places around the world, and it will be fully
not even original. How derivative.
Yeah, but it'll be the first one in the UK, and it'll be fully immersive with exciting onboard effects like wind, fog, vibrations, scents, spritzed water, and more.
Yeah, you don't get
this shit. Fucking exists.
You don't get that in Sydney's levitating opera house.
No, you don't. No, you don't.
They don't spritz you with scents. Who doesn't want that? Fucking hell.
So that's all part of phase 1 of the development, which is expected to... This whole thing, by the way, that we're talking about is expected by the developers and Blackpool Council to draw 600,000 additional visitors a year, who will spend 75 million and create 1,000 jobs, none of which will happen. So it will feature many fine attractions in phase 1 of 4.
It's one of those things like, it's gonna bring jobs to the area, and it's like
no, it won't.
It's going to
bring jobs to the area.
It's going to bring 3 jobs.
Way.
He's going to bring 3 jobs to the area, 2 of which are minimum wage, one of them which is for some reason paid like £200,000 a year.
It's going to bring 3 jobs to the area. Job.
One of them is the manager, and the other 2 are the people who actually like push all the buttons and pull all the levers to make the rides go. And
but one guy that tries to steal the dinosaur embryos. And then since they can't get the dinosaur embryos working, one guy that dresses up like a raptor to kill the guy who's trying to steal the dinosaur embryos.
There's going to be like 200 extra jobs in the British Virgin Islands to sluice all this fucking tax subsidy offshore and never to be seen again.
Jamie, where's Jeff Goldblum in your rogues gallery of film and TV?
He's all right. He seems likable enough. He doesn't have any, like, do you know what I mean, incredible, like, he's not James Spader, is he? He doesn't just only take roles based on how much of a pervert the character is, so...
So apart from the flying theatre, which I think everybody can agree sounds fucking amazing, there will be
wasn't there like a brochure you had for us last time?
Yeah. I've just put the link up in the show notes.
What the fuck is a flying theatre?
It's like a bunch of raked seats, so at an angle, but they're like on 2 like giant mechanical arms in front of a giant big screen, and they project shit on it. And
so
in this case,
what they've invented is a ride in a cinema.
What it basically does is like combine a fucking like roller coaster with laser eye surgery or something. Is that what you're telling me?
It's not even as good as a roller coaster. It's like, you know those shit wall things at the shows that just like spring up randomly.
Oh. Yeah.
It's like that, but there's a screen, so you don't need to look at your shitty village while you're on the thing.
This is where, do you know what I mean? Like, this is fucking Christopher Nolan's going to insist we all have to go to one of these to see his next film, isn't he?
Yeah. I've put there's a doc, as you kindly called it last time, Jamie, the brochure. If you turn to page 3, I've put a link in the Discord. There's some images of what it looks like.
I'm scared to open this in case my computer deletes the recording again or something. Can I be excused?
Yeah, you can.
Right. Well, hang on. Stop. Right, can we just like take 2 minutes so I can just fucking like go and like spoon some fucking honey into my dish because my throat's like. Otherwise, I'm just going to get like more and more fucking like bronchitis as the recording goes on. Right, I'm back.
How are you?
Have you got your honey crystal?
Aye. Just a giant fucking block of honey, like out of like, I don't know, terraria or some shit.
Stick that bad boy on a skewer, gnaw on it.
Yeah. Shout out to all the bees.
Right, where the fuck were we? Okay, we were talking about the flying theatre thing. Let me grab my notes again. All right, so so there's going to be the flying theatre, and that's pool number 1. The second one,
the ride that is indoors with a screen.
Yeah, which is going to be genuinely very amazing. Is there's going to be a full
love to watch Macbeth on a helicopter.
It's pretty much that. Like, imagine if Macbeth could also virtually piss in your face and then have that spritzed. Then you're just about there.
I'm going to land my Apache attack helicopter at a drive-in movie theater. Stick the little speaker in through the fucking window. Why not?
Well, I mean, you're going to be able to do that and much more because they're also building the world's most advanced virtual reality experience.
Oh, this is the one where you go and get to watch the original Stargate movie.
Yeah. No, you get to play in it because it'll be a whole body, fully immersive, hyper reality, epic scale, free roam multiplayer virtual reality experience.
See, you're saying all those buzzwords, and what I'm picturing is you get to move those microwave ovens in that Dire Straits video.
I mean, it's going to be fucking shite.
And then, like,
I mean,
they find when the ride's fully completed in like 2034, you also get to move those color TVs.
But from the brochure, it does literally just look like an amalgamation of Alien vs Predator and Stargate.
Yeah.
Which
I mean, in the
admittedly
brochure
would be quite a crossover, but I don't think.
I mean, yeah, James Spader's going to fuck a predator. I mean, it's cutting about the joint in those fishnets. It's just like, you know what I mean? It's fairly coming onto him.
there's also going to be an alien-themed diner. Again, if you're listening, you can't look along in the brochure, but we'll put all the pics of this stuff in the tweet thread underneath the episode post. So just go and have a look on
I just
some
wanted
of the
to
images.
describe this to the listener. It looks like a fucking time lapse, like a long exposure picture of like a cityscape with all the fucking lights and shit at night. And yeah, just imagine that, and you've pretty much got like 90% of it, but there's a few more chairs.
Yeah, but it's going to have a fully automated roll-on, what's it called again? A roller coaster service.
I thought you were going to say like roll-on ferry or something like that.
No, that's
Since
going to be
Brexit, we've had to turn all our ferries inwards.
Just drive your car into a cheeseburger or some shit. I don't know how that would work.
I believe they call it a drive-through.
Some sort of ancient Egyptian dimensional portal that like fucking teleports the cars on and off the ferry.
I mean, in 50 to 100 years, if Blackpool's still around, we are going to need a ferry to get to this fucking site because the rest of it will be swallowed up by the fucking ocean.
Yeah, we're going to need the Herald of Free Enterprise, that ferry.
But it's going to be really easy to find because of the big fucking ruler sticking out of the ground.
Yeah.
out to sea.
Everybody knows where it is.
We're really on like the fucking, do you know what I mean? This whole section's just going in the bin, isn't it? Like, you know, doing Zebrugger comedy now. Like, I didn't know the cargo bay doors were open. And then the music from Seinfeld plays.
So the alien diner, which does look fucking ridiculous, will be a
Once more
one-of-a-kind
with less feeling.
You can never leave the zone once you've entered.
No, you can never leave Blackpool Central when you're in it. So it'll be a one-of-a-kind place of fun, adventure, and discovery with hourly special effects, parties, etc., etc. It's going to be fucking shite. Now, the most amazing thing about this whole business is going to be the content, because we were talking a little bit before about the Chariot of the Gods books by Eric von Daniken. Essentially, this is like a foundation with, you know, all that bullshit about the pyramids were built by ancient aliens and all that kind of stuff. This book is pretty much the origin of most of that bullshit.
Yeah, didn't he like get the idea from his mate who was like, you know what I mean, definitely not a Nazi?
No, that was his editor. His editor was a guy...
No, that was his editor, you fool.
No, when he wrote the book in somewhere in the 60s...
His editor, the completely normal John Ubergruppenführer or something like that.
Almost. His editor is a guy called Utz Utermann, who used the pseudonym when he was editing this for good reason, because because Utz Utermann is the former...
When he was fucking living in, like, South America.
Yeah. No, because Utz... I just want to say his name a bunch more times. Utz Utermann. I'm picturing Uter from The Simpsons. I'm too full of Nazis, don't poke me. But before he edited this majestic tome, he was the Schriftleiter, which I think is the editor of the Volkische Beobachter, which was one of the biggest Nazi papers, and he was also a best-selling author under the Nazi regime. So yeah,
so it's guaranteed to be a riveting read then.
Yeah. Essentially, the book Chariot of the Gods proposes a totally crackpot theory that all the big monuments from ancient times, so the lines of Nazca, the pyramids, the East Island statues, were all built by humans with alien technology or built by aliens themselves.
See, I'm trying not to just like launch into exactly the same fucking like furious rant I did last week when we
you
tried
fucking
this
might
before.
as well.
But I absolutely fucking despise this like ancient aliens horse shit. Like, do you know what I mean? Fucking pyramid. Oh, how did all these people know how to build a pyramid? I don't fucking know, mate. It's surely beyond mortal comprehension how to like stack rocks and not have them like roll away. Do you know what I mean? Like, just picturing all these ancient dipshits just trying to build a monument where they start with one rock and then pile like 4 more on top of the next layer, and it gets wider and it just keeps falling over, and they're just like scratching their heads and we don't know what to fucking do here, until a flying saucer comes down and like fucking turns it the other way up, and then like, you know what I mean? Trumpet noises play, and like, you know what I mean? They learn how to store grain.
Yeah, but first of all, they have to build the fucking landing pads that, for some reason, always sprang forth from the ground.
First of all, they have to research like fucking, do you know what I mean, like laser optics or some shit, and then they can build the cyber pyramids with a helipad on the top.
Yeah, Leonard Nimoy is for some reason narrating the entire thing.
The landing pad, weirdly enough, according to this theory, and also, again, I can't stress this enough, the theme of this entire 300 million quid development is all this ancient alien bullshit, and they believe that the landing pads were originally the Nazca lines in the deserts of Peru, that they constituted an intergalactic landing strip, so that's part of the theory.
You know what a better theory is? Those lines, you know the fucking diagram we put on the Voyager probes? Explaining how to find, explaining, you know what I mean, how to find us, like the universe's biggest dipshits. Like, here's some nudes, and here's like a fucking map to our house, like James Spader at NASA. Do you know what I mean? Just in charge of this fucking plaque. Yeah, stick it on everything that goes into space. I want this like as much coverage as possible. Yeah, but like,
are you trying to posit that the Voyager probe is just an attempt to get laid?
Is it not? Do you know what I mean? But yeah, the Nazca lines are just that, like some fucking like alien race etched that on the Earth before they just fired it off into space to cause mayhem. Do you know what I mean? We're basically just like microbes that grew on the surface of some alien rocket ship, man.
In that sense, I mean, then the Nazca lines might be a warning for like other aliens to say these people are too moronic and just fucking leave them alone.
Abandon all hope.
This is not a place of honour.
No great deeds are commemorated here, but we are down to fuck.
Fortunately, in the virtual reality zone, we will all be able to fuck to our heart's content.
Do you need a minute, mate?
I may.
We are just fully immersed in the zone now, aren't we?
It's good. So one of my favorite bits is von Daniken in this stupid fucking book. He said there's proof that extraterrestrials were on Earth because there's an iron pillar in Delhi, which is a really old thing in about 400 after the birth of Christ. There's an iron pillar that stands in Delhi. And he says the proof that constitutes the aliens are among us is that it never rusts. Despite
also, I mean, it conducts electricity, and they didn't have electricity back then. So how the fuck did that happen?
Yeah, but when confronted by the fact that it did actually rust and shown, photographic evidence of the rust, Eric von Daniken
it was space rust. It could only have been put there by fucking like saucer people in conjunction with the reverse vampires.
He just changed his mind and he said, "Oh yeah, then aliens are not involved, but my theory still holds."
But they could have been, and I think that tells us more than if, we actually fucking used our brains for a minute.
So I wonder what his reaction would be if he ever saw like a piece of stainless steel.
He's just staring into his cutlery drawer like fucking just, you know what I mean? Completely engrossed in all the myriad possibilities for how this came to be. All of which involve like a fucking alien coming down and selling them some forks.
Maybe the Iron Pillar of Delhi is like intergalactic infomercials where it's just like people with tentacles just waving at you going, and it will never rust.
Yeah, you use it to open like fucking cartons of milk in some like hitherto unknown fashion that saves saves you 11 seconds over the regular like method of opening a carton of milk. Or whatever the fuck they do on those like infomercials nowadays. Do you know
Well,
what I mean?
Mike Gapes would probably be interested.
One of the genuinely most bizarre... I mean, among the many fucking bizarre things about what I can't stress enough is an actual thing that's in development. And
Sorry, do you know what I mean? Just the convergence of like shit infomercials and like universal like fucking like sex ads. I've just, you know what I mean? My brain just conjured the phrase "Sillet Bang Bus," and you know what I mean? I need a minute to process that.
You could probably program a silly bang bus into the VR experience.
Oh, God. This is a fucking cursed episode.
It's quite good.
I feel like we've really hit our stride now.
It was when Jamie conjured the image of a Sillet Bang Bus that we knew things were going well.
Yeah, just do you know what I mean? When they make like they make the Hollywood like remake of the Sillet Bang advert. He's played like Barry Scott's played by James Spader.
The gritty reboot.
Oh, remember when this was a politics podcast?
This is so much more fun.
I mean, it's got a fucking Nazi involved. What more do you want?
Yes. So weirdly, like, I mean, among the many weird fucking things about this thing that is actually being built and people are putting 300 million quid in, is that it's been tried before, and back then it was called the Mystery
Bang
Park.
Bus.
No, it was called the Mystery Park, and it was built in Interlaken in Switzerland in the 2000s. It was opened in 2006.
It was basically just some like waste ground with the Sillet Bang Bus doing laps while Germans commentated on how fast it was going. Michael Schumacher behind the wheel.
No, unfortunately, it wasn't that good. But it was bigger. It was a big sort of circle, and in the middle was a giant orb.
It was a big fucking circle with a giant orb in the middle. Holy shit! Like, you know what I mean?
swear to God.
Do these motherfuckers know how to party or what? Was that like King from Saudi Arabia just like outside pressed up against the glass? Do you know what I mean? Fucking loves orbs, that guy, doesn't he? Do you know what I mean?
So one of the lands also
Imagine
had
if you sent him into space, do you know what I mean? He looks back at Earth and just like gets a massive erection. He's been living on a giant orb all this time and never realised it.
Well, I mean, what's the difference between an orb and a sphere, Jamie?
The fuck am I? Brian Cox.
So anyway, this...
Yeah, moving swiftly onto this fucking theme park again.
So anyway, this thing used to, I mean, it closed, but it used to have, among other things, it had, one of the lands was a giant model of Stonehenge that came alive with a laser show that revealed the secrets of the ancient stones.
The druids must be fucking furious.
Stonehenge comes alive. Is it secretly a transformer?
It might very well be. Maybe all the standing stones of Britain are the tombs for Transformers. This could be.
The stones themselves are just the arms and legs, and the body is like actually under the ground. We're going to discover this when we try to like build a road tunnel through it or whatever.
Yeah, that's. But according to Von Daniken, it's not a robot. It is an intergalactic portal for.
It's not a robot. That would just be madness.
Has this guy played too much fucking Minecraft? Because they look a bit like the fucking the portal to the Nether or whatever. Like,
But yeah, so there was a land dedicated to Stonehenge. Another exhibit explored the Mayan calendar, which again, you know, that was a thing if you remember that when that was going to end the Earth.
I love to explore the calendar.
Yeah.
And also the lost city of Atlantis. Now, weirdly enough,
I'm just playing all the favourites really at this point.
Yeah, Indiana Jones and the Fate of Atlantis.
yeah. Now, weirdly enough, it was not the hit that the makers and designers of the park expected it to be.
Colour me fucking shocked.
What is it? Because they fucking came down.
Before it opened, they'd predicted that it would bring in 500,000 guests a year. So Brighton is 300,000, if you remember. In its third year of operation, it brought in just 200,000 and closed in year 4.
Is it abandoned now? Like that haunted Mr. Blobby theme park?
Oh my god, that is... I was going to say, that is my favourite fucking, like, abandoned theme park. It fucking rules.
People are like, oh, well, why didn't they just tear it down? It's like, because it's fucking haunted. Look at it. Do you know what I mean? Like, you're clearly not going to build anything else there ever again.
You're going to get a fucking disembodied blobby voice if you try.
Weird nodules around it, because, like, this is not a place of honour. You know what I mean?
Well,
That's what they should do. Instead of like trying to work out how to communicate with you, just put Mr. Blobby outside the fucking nuclear waste dump. No cunt's going anywhere near that. Like, I guarantee it.
No, it was actually bought by a different company that did reopen it, and apparently it runs reasonably well today. But the reason I suspect that it runs quite well today is that the redevelopment.
So they ran out of cocaine.
I was just say they rebranded it, and it's now about like fucking something other than like mad alien conspiracy shit.
Pretty much, they just stripped out all the mad alien shit and just made it into a normal
it's just
theme
a
park.
giant barn. Come and look at the world's largest barn. Loads of like fucking like Amish tourists just going through, going, yeah,
200,000 a year.
While it was open, though, when it was called Mystery Park and it was alien themed, some guy in the Swiss Academy called it a cultural Chernobyl, which I thought was interesting.
Is the Swiss Academy like the Klingon Academy?
It's just a fucking giant, like Mr. Blobby elephant's foot in the centre.
I mean, when I step foot outside my door, I do have to do one of those ritual sword fights, the klach, or whatever they're supposed to be called.
Oh yeah, the Cluedo.
Yeah, you have to mandatory play a round of Cluedo before you can do your shopping in Switzerland.
Damn, you're as fucked up, man.
And just one more tidbit of the old park.
Chasing all those like fleeing British tourists with a batleth.
Just one more bit from this old park. Again, I can't stress enough. This was built. It was a massive fucking failure, but we're doing it again, but in Blackpool. Controversy struck again in August 2005 when Eric von Daniken decided to have a special exhibition on crop circles and also a crop circle making competition. When the competition garnered no entrants, the park commissioned the land surveyor and artist to create a complex crop circle in a field near the park. And
did the whole fucking thing fall apart when they realised it's actually extremely easy to make some fucking crop circles? All you need is a bit of rope and some wood.
Yeah, well, I mean, they hired this guy to do like a fake one just because their whole publicity stunt had fallen to shit. But the night before the artist was supposed to create his circle, another circle...
was abducted by aliens.
Almost
Shyamalan twist.
Almost as good.
Look, we hate all scabs, and...
This, weirdly enough, Alistair, this tale does involve scabbing because the night before the paid artist was supposed to create his circle, another circle mysteriously appeared in the same field. After which several paranormal investigators came to Mystery Park. Some Mulder and Scully are on the scene.
They've got nothing better to fucking do, have they?
I mean, isn't this theme? That's the theme of these parks. Like, the mysteries are not solved, so it's like, are you going there expecting like closure? Are you gonna what's your end game? What's your exit strategy here?
There is none. Amazingly, the people who apparently look at crop circles for a living, and apparently there are such
Who does that for a living?
David
Duchovny. Off of the grot.
Oh, this is a really deep cut. But they concluded that the mysterious crop circle was obviously man-made due to...
obviously man-made!
Yeah, but due to quote-unquote obvious mistakes and crooked performance of the crop circle.
I mean, what if you expect someone to train a horse to do it or something?
I think if you just put a horse on a string, you get there. Maybe that's part of the VR experience, that you can hold a horse on a string.
I I don't think you need VR for that. Like, not yet, anyway. Not until like the Blade Runner future where we've like made horses extinct.
So about 10 to 20 years then, I guess. So when he was interviewed later by Vice News about the failure of the park, von Daniken blamed the park's critics, its location, and the lack of advertising for the poor performance. Maybe, he suggested, the location should be nearer to a great city next to Hamburg or Berlin. So, I think Blackpool's going to fill that particular criteria.
Motherfucker, like, yeah. Like, have you considered maybe building your insane fucking conspiracy theory theme park near people? Maybe, I mean,
it makes sense. If they built it outside my house, I'd be tempted to go. If they could just somehow build it outside everyone's house, and then everyone would go. It's just
then we could never leave. Essentially,
they just need to fold space somehow. Presumably, the ancient Egyptians can like fill them in on how to do that.
Yeah. If we just build like a giant pyramid-shaped crop circle in the British countryside, we can just have everybody have their own digital flying theatre space theme park.
I'm just loving the idea of a pyramid-shaped circle. This is some like futuristic PG tips technology. This isn't it? You know what I mean? Like,
I think they might call that a cone.
Oh, fucking slow down, Professor.
Yeah. Fuck you, Mr. Trigonometry.
Oh.
Anyway, I mean, obviously they got in touch with the Austrian dance producer, Mr. Reichhardt, and he made
Mr.
it...
Visage, is that?
No, it's not DJ. He's the producer of DJ Visage. He made it very clear that the theme park, the new one in Blackpool, will be very different to the one in Switzerland.
Yeah, it's in Blackpool for a fucking start. That being the chief difference.
It was a great concept, he said, but it was opened in the wrong location, i.e. Switzerland. To be fair, the Swiss are very bad at having fun. And also, the fun element was missing, and my company had nothing to do with it.
Yeah, it's fucking held up at the border because of Brexit. Oh, it's fucking rotting on the back of a truck.
It's in the same container with all those fucking squid.
Yeah.
The fun element, though. Do you know what I mean? I can't wait to learn about how, like, the fucking Mayans invented the cheese grater at a foam party. Just like, do you know what I mean? A cricket hat with a whistle while someone explains to me that, like, actually the ancient Greeks like couldn't have invented the boat. Do you know what I mean? Like, fucking just pounding techno music.
Now, I mean, sort of heading towards the finish line on this fucking thing.
Oh, thank fuck for that.
And as a development, like, it sort of makes it's if you don't.
If you say this makes sense, I'm going to run to Switzerland and smack you.
No, but it's building a new theme park and putting like 300 to 400 million quid worth of investment in the centre of Blackpool is like a really good idea because like it's a very poor town, a lot of people unemployed.
You know what would be a better idea? Just give the people of Blackpool 300 million quid.
Yeah,
they would spend it better than if they, like, you know what I mean? If you actually pissed 300 million quid up the wall on some fucking stupid shit about how, you know what I mean? Like, the Sumerians were actually Daleks. You know what I mean? And then, like, Blackpool itself gets, like, 10 quid spent on chips or something.
Look, Jamie, if there's one thing you know about this fucking country, it's that we are completely incapable of investing money into, like, a deprived area unless it's some completely obscene, ridiculous boondoggle.
If there's one thing I know about this country, it's that the Druids that built Stonehenge all had laser rifles and cogs on their hats.
It's the one thing they've just been getting wrong all these years. It's not white robes and mistletoe.
They invented the soundboard David uses for podcasts. Ancient stone monolith with fucking copper wires hanging out of it.
But yeah, I mean, there is, as you say, maybe we can redirect 300 million quid in a better way and not build a theme park around the belief of a person who thinks that the biblical cities of Sodom and Gomorrah were not destroyed by an act of God, but by aliens using atomic bombs. Again, that's in the books. So when put some of this criticism to the Austrian dance producer, Mr. Reichhardt. He said, no, this is actually a really good thing. We expect some criticism or some questions, that's fine. We just think that people can be a little bit tired of all the superhero stories and Hollywood stories, which have oversaturated the theme park market. People are looking for something new and unique.
They're not though, are they? Because if people were looking for something new and unique, that Mr. Blobby theme park would never have failed. 'Cause you can say a lot of things about that, but it was fucking unique.
Definitely.
Yeah, one of its kind.
Yeah, you could say a lot of things like, "Oh, this is some Stephen King horse shit. Where did the exit go?"
I love this as well. It's like, what are we going to do is like not build a new theme park built based on what, like the fucking Marvel franchises or something else that's like intergalactic fucking appeal. No, what we're going to do is build a new theme park in the center of a dying city.
See, I think that whole people are just tired of superheroes. It's the fucking Martin Scorsese thing again, isn't it? He tried to get the rights to do a Marvel theme park, and they told him to fuck off. And now he's bitter.
I would fucking honestly go to like a theme park based on The Irishman, where everybody just get like really weird facial features.
That's what the fucking VR's for.
So you can finally look your grandparents in the face without retching.
I mean, if you want to build a theme park about The Irishman, you can definitely get Robert De Niro involved. I guarantee you. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, he fucking turns up to anything.
Like, where do you think the actual cut-off point for Robert De Niro giving a shit about his career was? Because it's obviously somewhere before Rocky and Bullwinkle, right?
I don't know, but God, that man's made so much shite. But yeah, I'll leave the last word to Mr. Reichhardt. We believe we have a very unique, something can't be very unique, it's just whatever. We believe we have a very unique offering here that does not exist anywhere in the world, or indeed, maybe this galaxy.
Oh, fuck off.
I like the implication
No, I added
there.
that last
because
bit myself about the galaxy.
Well, you fuck off then.
I do like the implication there that just because something's unique, that therefore merits its own, like it merits its creation, completely. Like, again, we go back to the fucking Mr. Blobby theme park. Like that is unique, and did that need to exist?
We're going to build a new
because
theme.
like otherwise, where would God keep the souls of the damned? In a jar? It's fucking ridiculous. You know what I mean?
We're going to build a new theme park.
The only vessel capable of containing such anguish is a Mr. Blobby theme park. It's just elementary fucking like supernatural occultism.
We're going to build a brand new theme park in fucking, I don't know what, the Cotswolds, and it's going to be based on the actual experiences of the Boer War concentration camps. It's a unique offering that exists nowhere else in the world. Anyway, that is tonight's tale of the Blackpool Central Development Project based on the Chariot of the Gods Ancient Aliens horseshit, coming genuinely
you are now leaving the zone.
Yeah. Goodbye, Mystery Park.
Well, see you soon.
Consigned to the dustbin of hell.
I think see you soon, maybe better.
Oh, fucking. I mean, it's gonna be fucking wild, isn't it? Like, whatever, just build a fucking theme park.
Well, I mean, I think that went quite well, but it wasn't as good as last week.
David Spade's Cum Cafe.
David Spade, yeah, that was definitely who we were talking about.
Oh, fucking hell!
Is there anything at the end of this episode this week?
Do we want to? You know what we should start doing at the end of every episode is advertising another better podcast.
Listen to literally anything else.
Yeah, why are you still here? What the fuck?
Well done. If you listen to the end, you pass the test. You now proceed to the next level of
welcome to the
cast.
Illuminati, motherfuckers.
Your place in the Mr. Blobby theme park is sealed. I do actually have some comment or commentariat.
Oh, get in.
Yeah, just to top it off, shall we?
It's just a palate cleanser.
Yeah,
just to like fucking capture this like fantastic energy we're all fucking carrying around after like 90 minutes of that fucking horse shit.
Jamie, I've got to be honest. I think this vibe is entirely your fault.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Do you know what I mean? Well, you should. I highly recommend never sleeping. It's fucking brilliant. Like.
Oh, okay. Right, let's get started. So, just while I was doing my research on this, I did come across an article which was fucking useless to me for comment or commentariat, but the title was great. Why are trans activists and a bookstore trying to cancel me? By Julie Bindel. I just thought that was... Okay. Yeah, I didn't really read it. I skimmed it. It didn't look as if there was going to be anything worth pulling out of there. I just thought it was really funny that she wrote a whining article in
Was that in the Spectator?
It was, yes. Where else was it?
Yes! Fucking... Of course it was.
Yeah, I mean, do you know what I mean? It's like, it's just fucking... Why are trans activists trying to cancel me by my mobile phone contract? Is there like a hotline you can ring to cancel Julie Bindel, where they plead with you like, "Oh, come on, we'll give you a month free if you stay."
No, I've decided to go with somebody else.
We'll eliminate the Julie Bindel roaming charges. Would you like a second handset at reduced cost? Anything to stop me from cancelling Julie Bindel, for fuck's sake.
Right.
Anyway, were we doing some fucking comment or commentary?
We are. So first one. We copied the Chinese Communist Party approach to COVID-19 with lockdowns, and as each day passes, we're trashing more and more of our tolerant democratic precedents and moving more towards a populist totalitarian state. This government doesn't make a move without checking focus groups, hence they are incapable of leadership, but must always follow. Comment or commentariat?
I'd forgotten how much I fucking hate this game. I'm going to say fucking... Commentariat. It's fucking... it's Toby Young or one of those fucking cunts.
I'm leaning towards that as well. I'm going to go with Jamie on this one.
I think it's Commentariat, but I think it's a Labour MP.
It was actually a comment from the BBC News website.
Ah.
Rather than treating us as grown-ups and trusting us to do the right thing, ministers and their cheerleaders have been turning the screw. Anyone questioning the wisdom of trashing the economy and suspending civil liberties is smeared disgracefully as a COVID denier willing to watch people die. Comment or commentariat?
This is Toby Young. I'm just going to guess Toby Young for all of them, to be honest, but this is definitely Toby. You know what I mean? It's from Toby Young's fucking illustrious, like, covidisn'treal.com or whatever the fuck he's doing.
Oh, yeah, he had that website, didn't
he? Had that, like, that endless chain of predictions that he went back and deleted because every single one of them was wrong. Spent, like, a whole year going, oh, there'll not be a second wave. Oh, the second wave won't be as bad as everyone's predicting. Oh, I'm not really dead. Do you know what I mean? Just, like, on and on.
Well, if only he'd made that last prediction, then maybe we'd have be a little bit better off. But
finally
alas.
Been free.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think it's Commentariat. I'm going to say it's something to do with Julia Hartley-Brewer, but yeah.
Okay.
The problem I've got with that is there is a slight kernel of a point in there, which is depressing.
Do you think Julia Hartley-Brewer was the one that gave Captain Tom COVID?
I hope so.
Oh no, that was that really rich guy who flew out to. Is it Barbados?
It was Barbados, yeah, and then he paid off his own private security to just let him go out and break the rules. Yeah,
that guy. That's well done, that guy. But I've completely forgot what the quote even was, so I'm just going to guess Commentariat.
Just say it was Toby Young. So why don't we all agree now to just say Toby Young to everyone and just undermine the entire point of the enterprise?
Have you joined this podcast to bring it down from within?
Are you only just realising this? Has there not been a pattern of like sustained behaviour that gave it away? Like
podcast entryism is just a whole new game.
I don't even know what politics are, to be honest. I just turned up for the sport.
Oh, so that one was Commentariat. It wasn't Toby Young. It was Richard Littlejohn in the Daily Mail.
Oh, fuck off.
The thinking man's Toby Young. Oh, Richard Littlejohn, man. Fucking hell. Is he still extremely mad about the gays?
Probably.
Always. He's never not.
Him and fucking Gary. Who remembers Gary Bushell? Whatever happened to Gary Bushell, eh? Do you know what I mean?
That
These
name
kids
rings a
today
bell.
with these kids today with their Rod Littles and their Toby Youngs, they just don't remember what it was like to have fucking Bluto from Popeye writing a fucking weekly column in the Sun.
Oh my god, David! I think you need to hit us with a new one before
this gets any more out of hand.
The best thing about Gary Bushell was he was so shit for so long, and then like he actually got his own TV show on some, you know, like in the late 90s when there were about 700 different fucking lads channels on Sky TV.
Oh yeah.
Like Bravo or like, you know what I mean, Mensch or some shit like that. They gave Gary Bushell like a fucking a comedy a comedy fucking game show on there where he had lads on, and he was like flanked by two dolly birds doing his like Cockney fucking game show host bit, and his voice was somehow even squeakier than Keir Starmer's.
Moving on then from COVID, let's have some stuff about the new GB News channel.
Oh, great.
Oh, good. I'm sure there's going to be some perfectly down-to-earth, normal opinions that someone's opined.
Oh, yeah. I have no doubt that Andrew Neil's political views are different from my own, but I respect him as a political interviewer and commentator. We should wait to see what GB News looks like before condemning it.
Oh, I know.
Comment or commentary.
I don't think I don't want to, like, you know, I think I'm hearing you're reading this and I'm hearing it in Robert Peston's voice for some reason.
I mean, I'm going to say Commentariat, but like I definitely do appreciate the person who just, you know, doesn't agree with the dog just barking at nothing, but he does appreciate the effort at which he's going on with it.
That was a comment from The Guardian.
What?
Right ballpark, I feel like.
It is vital not to pre-cancel the mainstream right. When they start to flog fake news, they become a foe. Until then, while they are grounded in reality and committed to accuracy, they are not lesser foes, but allies. Comment or Commentariat.
I'm like, my internal monologue is reacting to every one of these with that like Laura Koonsberg gecko noise.
What?
Yeah, she did that.
You know,
first.
when Keir Starmer was like, "Oh, the thing I'm looking forward to the most is a pint and a haircut," and she just went.
I didn't hear. What?
Oh well, you're in for a tweet when we go and dig that clip up on Twitter for you after the recording.
Yeah, it's really weird. She does sound like she's like
it's fucking baffling, is what it is. Just, do you know what I mean? It's like, I will now make the human laugh.
Oh fuck it! Just a comment. At this point, I don't even know what's going on.
Ray, what do you think?
Great, my energy is infectious.
Any other bets?
Oh, sorry. Yeah. It's a comment.
I've lost the will to live.
By
It's
Toby
Commentariat.
That was Zoe Williams in The Guardian. Right, final one.
Are we done?
No, last one.
Treat.
Oh fuck.
They hate women who refuse to conform to their ideology of gender fluidity. They hate the tabloid press and anyone who reads it, and they hate diversity of opinion. These mad, bigoted attempts to slay GB News even before it is launched confirms why GB News is such an important initiative. At this point, anything that rattles the woke elites and questions their orthodoxies has got to be a good thing. Comment or Commentariat.
This is Commentariat. It's like they built a giant fucking like clockwork machine to inject Andrew Neil's spirit directly into the red wall itself, and it came alive and rose up out of the ground and is now like roaming the hillsides, like fucking hurling sheep at Londoners. Do you know what I mean?
I like Commentariat. Why not?
Well, was that not what I just said?
Yeah, that's I'm summarising.
I think it's Sean Lawson.
Friend of the pod.
I would just like to say, fuck that guy.
Yeah, get in the fucking bin, Sean.
That was Commentariat, and it was Brendan O'Neill for Spiked.
Oh, get over Brendan.
Brendan, Sean,
You
whatever,
need to end
same
on a
guy.
Brendan.
But the important question is, was he wearing the hat when he wrote it? Remember, kids, bullying works.
Oh my god! Right, Can we finally knock this shit on the head?
Absolutely, we can.
Just
Champion, mind how you go.
yeah, just on your way out the door, buy some of our fine merchandise. We'll put a link in the show description. We've got t-shirts and shit. You want them? We've got them.
All right. Thanks for listening. Are we at that point?
Yeah.
We are. See you later, folks.
Bye-bye.
Listen to Trash Future.
All right. Thanks, everyone. Bye.